Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Brothers and sisters, I want to discuss a little bit about fasting. Inshallah, the month of Ramadan is fastly approaching upon us. So we want to get into some issues of Ramadan and fasting within itself. Because what we have to understand is that fasting in the month of Ramadan, this is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, which means this is a fardu ayn, this is an obligation upon every Muslim who has reached taklif, who is mukallaf, and who is able to fast. So the thing is that fasting in itself, fasting is worship. Okay, fasting is worship, as Allah has told us in the Quran that we are obliged to fast in this month of Ramadan. Now, what we need to understand as Muslims is that what is the fast? What exactly is the fast? Allah is not in need of us to leave our food and our drink and our desires of what we as humans are naturally prone to do. So this does not mean desires, does not mean things like if you like to play sports, if you like to go swimming, even though that's not recommended to play to go swimming while you're fasting, but it is permissible. You can do that. You should not do that because you risk the chance of breaking your fast. However, desires mean things that the human body naturally desire. Okay, intercourse from our spouses, food, drink, things of this nature. So therefore, when we fast, we're giving up what we desire for the sake of Allah. But we have to understand that this does not technically mean that fasting is for Allah. Allah is not in need of our fast, and Allah, if we do not fast without a valid reason, then this is haram. Okay, this is sinful. Now, fasting in itself, outside of the fiqh part of fasting, we should focus on the spiritual part of fasting. Okay, because the spiritual part of fasting is what's going to bring us closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. It is not the fact that you leave your food, you leave your drink, you leave your wife, you leave your husband for these certain amounts of hours in between from Salatul Subh or Salatul Fajr down to Maghrib. Right? The spiritual part is that you gain something from this fast. Right? This is the important part. It's not that you just starve yourself all day and then at the end of Ramadan, now you've left Ramadan with nothing. Okay? That's not what it's about. So the purpose is to learn how to get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal, to gain this spiritual part of fasting, which the spiritual part is the most important part of any issue that we can think of when it comes to fiqh. As we know, when you pray, right, the prayer is just movements, right? The prayer is movements. We don't pray for exercise, okay? We pray to get something out of the prayer. You give zakah to get something out of the zakah. You make the hajj to get something out of the hajj. So if one was to make hajj and he goes there with any other intention besides ibadah, and he goes there and he breaks any of the conditions or the obligatory acts of the hajj, then obviously we have to take this back to that if one goes and he makes the hajj successfully, and then when he comes back, then his sins have been wiped away. Now, the key word is successfully. Doesn't mean that you just go over to Mecca and now you're there and you just want to spend some time and you want to do anything that you want to do, and now you come back. What you've done at that point is just you made a very expensive vacation. Okay, so this is very important that we understand all of these fiqh issues. The end result is ihsan. The end result is to gain spirituality with our Lord. That is the end result. So it's a training as we're taught from the Quran. So fasting is a training. Fasting is a form of ibadah. We don't want to let the month go by where Allah is being so generous that He is allowing us to pile up on rewards and pile up on us making right of our sins and things of this nature, and just leave the month without anything. Without anything. Okay? Now the thing is that we have to understand that we need to learn fasting before Ramadan. Okay, we don't wait until the first of Ramadan to enter and say, okay, teach me about my fast. Okay, at this point, you've probably done a numerous amounts of things that may have broken the fast anyway, and you just didn't, you just unaware of it. So anything that we are told to do from these pillars of Islam, the bare minimum we are obligated to know. Okay, so you are obligated to know the bare minimum of your iman, of your aqidah. You are obligated to know the bare minimum of your salah. You are obligated to know the bare minimum of your siyam, your fasting. You are obligated to know the bare minimum of your zakah, your yearly 2.5% that you are obliged to give. And even this will change based on what kind of zakah you owe. Okay, so everything won't be 2.5%. So we have to know this. You are obligated to know the minimum conditions of your hajj. Okay, one cannot just wake up one day and say, I'm going to go make hajj. You have to know the conditions. You have to know the obligations. Everything that we do from these have conditions and obligations. They're set there for us to know them. Okay, not for us to assume that we know them. Fasting is no different. Okay, now as I said, the month is fastly approaching, and there are some things that we need to know concerning fasting. Okay, there are some things, and then the thing is that what breaks the fast, it will vary from madhab to madhab, so we need to know this as well. And it's important that we understand, because otherwise, we don't want to be speaking out of ignorance. We don't want to be, like down hard on someone because, they may tell you that this does not break my fast without you even knowing that maybe it does not break their fast according to their school of jurisprudence. Okay, so these are things that we have to know. Fasting in itself, the time of fasting, the time of fasting when Salatul Subh enters, when Fajr enters, the fast begins. Okay, and you have until Maghrib, and then you break the fast. Okay, there's some things that we have to understand as far as when do you break the fast? You break the fast when Maghrib enters. I know that a lot of brothers and sisters, they go to the masajid and they await for the mu'adhin to call the adhan before they break their fast. Now, this is not, okay, the fast does not end when the mu'adhin calls the adhan. The fast ends when Maghrib enters. Okay, so we need to know when Maghrib enters in order to break our fast. Okay, and some other issues that we have to understand when it comes to fasting is there are some differences of opinions about what actually is going to break a fast. Meaning, if you eat or drink by mistake, does this break a fast? Okay, because according to the school of Imam Malik, this still breaks the fast. Okay, because you broke a condition. And the bottom line is that anytime we break a condition, it breaks the act that we're doing. Okay, so in the Malikiya, we are aware of this hadith about whoever eats or drinks by mistake. This is from Allah, so continue fasting. However, the Malikiya says that the Prophet ﷺ did not tell us that our fast was still valid. The month of Ramadan is sacred, therefore we continue to fast because the month of Ramadan is sacred. And you should not just be going around eating because you want to eat. Okay? So there are differences of opinions here. And we need to pick one, follow. It's best to follow a school of thought when it comes to things like this, because there are such a wide variety of different views and different opinions regarding siyam, fasting, or sawm. So with that, please, brothers and sisters, let's do our best to make this Ramadan good. In terms of intentions, there are difference of opinions about intentions. You know, we know that according to the Shafi'iyya, that the intention, it must be made on a daily basis, meaning from you have until Maghrib up until Salatul Subh to make your intention. However, according to the school of Medina, that one intention in the beginning of the month will suffice for the entire month, providing the fact that you have not done anything to interrupt the fast. So that means if a woman was to come on her cycle, when she starts back to fasting again, she must make a new intention. If you was to break your fast for any reason, once you start to fast again, you must make a new intention at that point. So inshallah, let's do our best this upcoming Ramadan, first and foremost for the sake of Allah, but secondly, because we have to have this intention that we're fasting for the sake of Allah. Everything should be for the sake of Allah. Okay, everything should be for the sake of Allah. So once we understand that, let's do our best to train ourselves to be better Muslims. Because at the end of the day, if you can go a month, without what you desire, this is the purpose. It's a training for us. It's a training for us. Okay, less sins are committed in Ramadan by us, by mankind. This is proven. So if we can do this during the month of Ramadan, then we can continue to do this. So inshallah, may Allah make us successful. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum.